can see this particular section also. See here, this is showing I mean, they have removed the cups and then they are showing inside how it look like from the top. If you want to see the lower part of the heart, so lower part is again its largest chamber. See here also. See, this is the left ventricle. That's why there is a larger uh, volume, you can say. See here. These are this white color things which you can see here is Purkinje fiber, which helps uh, to open and close the flap of the valve. So valves are getting, that's why it creates sound. Lub and dub sound is due to the opening and closing of the valve. We'll see that in this particular section. And this is how the valves look like from the top. Okay, this is semilunar valve. This is also semilunar valve. So there are total 4 valves as you can see here. So this is bicuspid, sorry, this is bicuspid, this is tricuspid. This particular valve is present in aorta. This particular valve is present in the blood vessel which is going into the lungs. That means pulmonary uh, artery. Okay, and this is the valve. So there are total 4 valves present in the system. Okay, so let's continue from this. So we have talked about there is a right AV valve, which is a tricuspid, and they have 3 cups. Right? Okay, so let's continue. Sometimes if I'm using the same page, it takes some time to get to reset. Yeah, now it is slowly processing the page. So if you will see the both ventricle means right and the left part, have rough inner walls. If you will see the image, see, rough walls are there from inside, and they have 2 type of ridges. Ridges means the network of muscles, low network and well developed ridges. So this is well developed ridges there, and here is again well developed ridges are there. So we are going to discuss this part. So you can see both ventricle. When we say both, we are talking about right and left. Okay, both ventricle have rough inner wall. Okay, so what are the 2 type of ridges? And have 2 type of ridges. So what are the 2 type? Let me write here only. The 2 types are, first is low network, and second is well developed ridge. Now there is a name given to this. Low network of ridges is called columni, and well developed ridges are called papillary muscles. Papillary muscles. So these 2 muscles help in the uh, smooth functioning, smooth operating the lower part of the uh, ventricle. Next is left ventricle wall is 3 times thicker. So if I will show you the diagram. Wait, let me show you here. Structure of heart. Yeah, show you the big diagram. Yeah, this particular section. Let me copy this. Then we'll explain. So if you'll see this lower part of the heart, this section, this particular part, which I'm shading, this is quite thick, right? If you will compare with this side, this thickness and then this thickness. See, so this is more thicker and this side is less thicker. So the thickness is due to the pressure which is being created by the lower part of the heart to send the blood to the different parts of the body. Now the question is why this is thinner? Because the blood which is present here in this section going to lungs, right? So when they're going to lungs, they don't have to travel long distance. So the pressure which is developed here in the blood is not that much. If you will compare the pressure which is generated here and the blood is going to the different parts of the body. So that's why the thickness is more uh, due to this thickness, the pumping will be more faster, more rapid, so that blood can reach to the different parts of the body. That's why it is more thicker. So you can say that left ventricle wall is 3 times thicker than the wall of right ventricle. And as we can see in this diagram, yes, it is 3 times thicker than the right ventricle. You can give a reason also why, because as left ventricle has to pump the blood to all body parts, and the right ventricle, as I said, it is going to the lungs, right? So there's no big distance, and the right ventricle has to pump only to lungs. That is why there is a difference in the thickness of the muscular walls of the ventricles. Next point, we'll talk about cordia tendini. Let me show you where it is. This is called this particular part. This is called, sorry, CHOR tendini. Now, what these muscles do? So this is attached to the papillary muscles. This is papillary muscles. This one, which is a thin line-like structure, white color. This is called papillary muscles, which is holding the flap of the valve. And when the lower part of the muscles is going to contract, when they're contracting, you can feel that this white thread-like muscles will pull the valve so that it get open and the blood will come in. So you can say that cordi tendini, TENDINEA, are attached to papillary muscles, and we know that these are the only muscles which helps the proper holding of the valves. To papillary muscles And on the underside of the cups, sorry, not cups, it's cusps, cusps, of AV valve. AV valve is this one. Actually, it is both the sides, so auricular ventricular valve, because these valves are present at the junction of AV, auricle and the ventricle. That's why we call them AV valve. And we know that the main function of these valves to prevent the backflow of the blood. So that point is also important. You can say they prevent backward movement, of the cups of AV node, of AV valves. So this is how they are working. Next, we will talk about the RV, means right ventricle. What they are doing, they are pumping the blood. Which type of blood? Deoxygenated blood. So right ventricle pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs. As the diagram shows, it's going to lungs. We'll write to the lungs through pulmonary artery. This is the name of the blood vessel, which is an exception here actually. Generally, artery carries oxygenated, but here it's carrying deoxygenated. So this is an exception. And left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood to the body parts through aorta, right? So this is how the pumping of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is going on. Now the question is pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, do they contain any valve? So as I have shown you in the diagram, let me show you again. Yeah, let me show you this one. So this is the two valve. Let me copy this and I'll show you the valve. Okay, so let me name it now. So this one, this particular valve and this particular valve, this is present in pulmonary artery and this is aorta, present in the aortic valve. That's why the name is aortic valve here. So the next point which I'm trying to write is based on these two valves. So you can say that opening of pulmonary artery and aorta have semilunar valve. Right? Semilunar valves means these two, aortic valve and pulmonary valve, to prevent backflow. So wherever there is a valve in the heart, the main function is to stop the backflow. That's it. There is no other work. Right? So if I have to explain these things once again, so let me draw a block diagram. because in blood diagram you can easily understand. So this is the valve, and we know that lower part is quite thick. So let me increase the thickness as we will go this side. Yeah, so the thickness is less here, and then starts increasing from this side. Right, this is thickness which I have drawn. Let me separate the heart. So I am separating it like this, and then like this. This is right auricle, this is right ventricle, left auricle, left ventricle. This is tricuspid, this is bicuspid, right? So blood is coming inside. This is your inferior vena cava, this is superior vena cava. Blood reached here. This is deoxygenated blood. Then blood goes into this side. This valve is called tricuspid. Right now, from here, blood will go into lungs, and then from lungs it's come back. Now let me write the names of these blood vessels. This is pulmonary artery, this is pulmonary vein, this is carrying oxygenated, this is carrying deoxygenated. Now blood reach here through bicuspid. Blood will go into this chamber, and from here blood will come out from the and goes to the different parts of the body. Now, so we have discussed about two valves. So let me tell you one more thing. There is one valve present here in this particular blood vessels and in this blood vessels. So if I have to show the flow, how they are flowing, so I can say like this, uh, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Both are draining blood into the heart, right, into right auricle. From right auricle, blood goes to right ventricle, right? And there is a valve here. We'll write here tricuspid. Now from right ventricle, blood is going to lungs, right? Name of the blood vessel is pulmonary artery. We'll write that name. And there is a valve present here. We call them as a pulmonary valve, or you can just semilunar valve. Then from lungs, it comes out, right? Goes to, or better, we can do one thing. Sorry, yeah. So from right ventricle, right auricle to right ventricle, and from right ventricle it goes to lungs, right? This is pulmonary artery, and they are carrying deoxygenated blood. After this, the blood comes out from the lungs, right? This particular blood vessel is called pulmonary vein, and here the blood is oxygenated and goes to left auricle. Then from left auricle it goes to left ventricle. Again, here is a valve called bicuspid, and then from bicuspid it goes to left ventricle, and from left ventricle it goes to aorta, right? And then from aorta it goes back to superior and then inferior part of the body. Right? Here also we have a valve called semilunar valve, also called aortic valve. Fine. So this is how the blood circulation is present. If you have to separate, then you can say this much till here and here. This is deoxygenated blood, and this section is oxygenated blood. This is deoxygenated blood. Hope you have understood this particular cycle.
Yes, sir.
It's clear now. So everything is
Yes.
in a same pattern how the blood is flowing. Right? So so as we know that blood is flowing in a closed circuit, right? If you have to write which is pulmonary circulation, which is systemic circulation. So you can say that let me use the green pen to highlight this one. This will be pulmonary circulation because the blood is going into the lungs and then coming out from the lungs, going to left auricle, coming from right ventricle. So this is the part of the heart going out and then coming in. So this will be the pulmonary circulation, and from left ventricle to the different parts of the body and then coming back into the right auricle, right? This is your systemic circulation, right? So as we know that systemic and pulmonary, the idea is from the heart. If blood is going and coming back to the heart via lungs, or coming out from the heart and going back to the heart through body, based on that the circulation is given. This is pulmonary circulation, this is systemic circulation. Same thing is here. That's why we call them as a double circulation, because two times blood is coming inside the heart. And the complete circulation takes 0.8 second to send oxygenated blood within the body. 0.8 second means even less than 1 second. This is the speed, this is the rate. So as you are checking your time, time for 1 second, your body cells have received the new set of new setup of blood. You can say oxygenated blood, and body has already carried it all the wastes from the body and given to the heart. Waste means in sense of deoxygenated blood. We can't say waste. Yeah, it is a waste because deoxygenated blood means carbon dioxide. So it contains waste. So like this, they are going on. Okay. So we'll stop here. Fine, Richa.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So we'll do in the next lesson now.
All right, sir.